Even though authorities had no evidence that the crafts were targeted for spying in a similar way as the high-altitude Chinese balloon that passed American territory this month, the White House has agreed with the decision to fire down 3 unidentified drones in as many days. The 3 unmanned drones, one of which was gunned down near Lake Huron, were flying at much lower heights that pose a threat to corporate and passenger air traffic. Even if the evidence proving they were armed with the intention of eavesdropping is not yet in possession of the Biden government, experts have not dismissed the possibility that they did so. Here in this video, we'll be talking about the recent shoot-down of UFOs in multiple countries. Subscribe to this channel if you're ready to take a deep dive into the vast unknown with me as we explore extraterrestrial life form. Let's get started. Uri Geller has been a prominent figure in the UFO field for a long time. He asserts that he had interactions with alien life forms in the past, and the specifics of these interactions can be found on his webpage and various online platform pages. As per him, the general belief among several UFO specialists is that the Earth is continuously being toured by a few different extraterrestrial civilizations, many in the sort of copies, equipped with artificial intelligence and constructed to look like us. Furthermore, he claims that this is the case for a vast majority of these specialists. But this, in and of itself, is not novel. Geller claims that extraterrestrials have been visiting Earth for centuries and have pointed out numerous distinct carvings of old astronauts. Geller has also reportedly talked in the past about how extraterrestrials have been attempting to communicate with Earth. In addition to this, he brought up the numerous documented testimony and videos recorded by U.S. airmen of identified flying object sightings that cannot be understood. Geller stated that their equipment must be pretty advanced because their craft was traveling at rates that were inaccessible to humans using the technology available at the time. He went on to imply that extraterrestrials could even be roaming in all of us, perhaps in the shape of alien robots powered by AI and designed to appear like people. Malcolm Robinson, who is based in the UK, is one of the UFO specialists who believe that extraterrestrial visitors to Earth do not come peacefully. Several UFO professionals are of different minds. It's important to emphasize, however, that it's possible that humans have not certainly murdered any extraterrestrials. Nevertheless, it's more possible that the UFOs were craft that were piloted by no one at all. What about the nation of Israel, though? Why haven't there been any high-profile UFO sightings in Israel, as there have happened in the United States of America, Canada, and even China? It has been reported that there have been encounters throughout the Middle East, as per Geller. They've been seen in the Sinai, and they've been seen over Jerusalem, he stated. And I know from people inside Amman that there are sometimes objects detected by Israel's radar that can't be explained. Do you not agree that everything is starting to get much too crazy? Amateur UFOologists had quite a commotion when it was reported that unknown flying objects had been observed flying over the United States and Canada. UFO discussion boards were filled with speculation concerning the origins and purpose of these floating beings. Was it possible that they were sent by intelligent civilizations from distant cosmos? Or was it an answer that was nearer to home? As a result of these recent resurgence of interest and encounter with extraterrestrial beings, many specialists are now predicting that the United Kingdom could soon experience an increase in the number of UFO sightings in its airspace. In a span of less than 2 weeks, officials in the United States have gunned down 4 flying objects that have widely varied in dimension and shape. Though one of these items has been identified as a Chinese balloon, the other 3 remain a mystery to the officials. Glenn Van Herk, the U.S. Air Force commander entrusted with securing U.S. airspace, stated that the Army was likely to determine what the 3 most recent aircraft were, how they remained above, and where they had originated from when the examination was done with the retrieved fragments. When asked if he had discarded the possibility of extraterrestrial life, Van Herk responded by saying, "I'll let the intelligence community and counterintelligence community figure that out. I haven't ruled out anything." As per Joe McGonigal, one of the foremost prominent amateur UFO investigators in the United Kingdom, and a control on obvious sightings of the coast of the Atlantic, the narrative had prompted a public response on UFO social networks in the United Kingdom, with many people leaning towards the belief that something extraterrestrial is taking place. There's a spectrum of belief, if you like, from people with thoughts similar to my own, to people that think that this is a wave of aliens coming in, said McGonigal. Even though he does not admit that little green men have paid Earth a visitation, he also does not think that people are the only intelligent life in the universe. McGonigal has spent years poring over documents once classified by the Ministry of Defense and is now kept in the National Archives. He's doing this in an effort to learn what the government knows regarding alleged visits from extraterrestrial beings, which he was under the impression were being hidden from the general public. But I eventually came to the conclusion that people like myself actually know more about him than the authorities do, he added. After looking into a large number of mysterious occurrences, he concluded that some things are destined to stay a mystery, despite the fact that it is in the nature of humans to try and explain everything. There are some things that, at first glance, don't have a straightforward explanation. Not only may they be spacecraft from another planet, but there are thousands and one other things that could be as well. Nonetheless, even the most tenacious alien searchers frequently cannot be dissuaded from their conviction that there is a conspiracy working to conceal the existence of extraterrestrials by any amount of proof to the contrary. I think in all probability these are balloons of some kind, operated by someone. But when the U.S. authorities turn around and say that, there are going to be elements of the UFO curious community that will not believe it anyway, and people are likely to report a wave of UFO sightings as a result of these cases. He said, "I'd expect a rash of UFO reports from people who don't normally look at the sky, suddenly looking in the sky and seeing things they don't recognize and reporting them." The British UFO Research Association said there had been a minor rise in the number of persons getting in touch with sightings, but both it and McGonigal said that the big surge would probably come sometime within the next few weeks. According to McGonigal, the media coverage prompted more people to keep an eye out for sightings, and the process continued to repeat itself in a circle. Then all of a sudden, there was an invasion by extraterrestrial beings, he said. After flying across Alaska, the airplane was in the middle of the Yukon when it was hit by the missile on February 11th. The altitude of the incident was around 40,000 feet. The first reports suggested that the object might be similar to one that was shot down off the coast of South Carolina, with the exception that it was far smaller and circular in shape. What kind of weapon did they use to shoot it? An F-22 armed with a Sidewinder AIM-9X was deployed to launch to strike the target. Because the drone had violated Canadian legislation by entering their airspace without permission, this was necessary for it to be shot down in order to protect the safety of regularly scheduled flights. The Canadian military will now retrieve the debris and they will conduct research on it. The United States military shot down unidentified flying objects over the weekend in response to political crisis that was started by shooting down the Chinese surveillance balloon in America territory on February 4th. The incident occurred off the coast of South Carolina. At the moment, there is not much to be known about it. Nevertheless, it has been believed it could be up to 200 feet in height. An F-22 fighter jet fired a Sidewinder surface-to-air missile at the balloon, which is around the same size as a variety of buses, and was flying at an altitude of 60,000 to 65,000 feet in order to bring it down. Authorities in the United States were under the impression that the balloon's mission was to gather intelligence on military installation. In contrast, China has been adamant that the aircraft in question was nothing more than a civilian airliner that strayed into America airspace by accident. On February 10th, what events were occurring near the coast of Alaska? The United States military destroyed an unknown flying object that was flying above Alaska. It was about the size of a compact car that gives you any idea. To carry out the missile attack, 2 F-22 Raptors were dispatched into the air, and one of the cutting-edge planes launched a single AIM-9X Sidewinder missile. According to the information provided by the Canadian government, this item represents a significant threat to the safety of civilian aircraft. But what could it be, and whether or not it's connected to the Chinese surveillance airship are both utterly unclear at this time. Because of the severe environment of the Arctic, the short amount of sunshine and other variables, sea ice has been utilized in the rescue mission. One of them is an HC-130, which is a plane designed specifically for research and rescue missions. On February 12th, the aircraft was seen flying at an altitude of around 20,000 feet above the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, more specifically towards the eastern edge of the peninsula. It was shot down approximately 15 nautical miles east of the Upper Peninsula when flying over Lake Huron. It had the appearance of an octagonal structure with strings that protruded from it. Nevertheless, the strings did not contain anything. Since they now know exactly where it is, the NORAD team can concentrate on bringing it back so they may conduct research on it. The group claims that the crash site was chosen to ensure that there would be fewest possible civilian casualties and the greatest number of opportunities to recover items that were lost. The concept that the object was found could have originated from another planet that was shot down by experts from the national intelligence community. Nobody has no idea where that thing came from in the first place. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments section. Also, at last, give a like to this video. See you soon.